One tech tip: logging on at a cafe. Privacy and security guidelines for remote workers. Add AP News as your preferred source to see more of our stories on Google. Add AP News on Google. Add AP News as your preferred source to see more of our stories on Google. Share for digital nomads. Logging on to work from a cafe, co-working space, hotel lobby, or airport lounge is a way of life. Remote working has been made possible by reliable high-speed internet and turbocharged by the pandemic. For some remote workers, that includes working from somewhere other than their home, perhaps because their company doesn't have a physical location in their area or because they don't have an ideal home office setup. Working in public, however, doesn't come without privacy and security risks. Here's a quick reminder of precautions to take. Read the rulebook. Hybrid or fully remote working is the norm for many jobs, so it's a good idea to check for guidance from your employer on what's expected when working away from the office. Many companies and organizations have internal guidelines including best practices for working in public, or even offer privacy and confidentiality training for staff. Some discourage working in crowded public places like coffee shops because of data privacy risks. The British government spells it out in guidance for staff working with classified documents. These environments can present additional risks, including being more freely accessible to people without the appropriate clearance and need to know. If you're planning to travel and work, some employers might also have rules forbidding staff from working from certain countries. Think visually. Cafes and co-working spaces are often busy with strangers, most of whom will be minding their own business. But it's still a good idea not to leave yourself exposed. Try to find a secluded place to sit to prevent others from seeing what's on your screen, even if it's by accident. It's harder for someone to shoulder surf if you've got your back to a wall. To make it even harder for prying eyes, get a screen privacy filter. This is a thin film that has tiny louvers to prevent anyone from seeing your screen when looking at it from an angle. This article is part of AP's Be Well coverage, focusing on wellness, fitness, diet, and mental health. Read more. Be well. Be wary of the Wi-Fi. It's so tempting to log on to that free Wi-Fi network in the airport lounge or hotel lobby so you can check your email. But cybersecurity experts advise against it because the risks are high. Avoid a public Wi-Fi network that doesn't need a password because any data sent over it is vulnerable to theft or manipulation, the National Security Agency warns. Even if a Wi-Fi network requires a password, that doesn't mean the data will be encrypted, the NSA says in a cybersecurity tip sheet. The agency warns about a number of cybersecurity risks involving public Wi-Fi. One possible danger is a rogue network that tricks people into joining. Read more. A malicious actor can set up a fake access point, also known as an evil twin, to mimic the nearby expected public Wi-Fi, resulting in that actor having access to all data sent over the network, the NSA says. Instead, use a mobile hotspot, which is more secure because it uses your cell phone signal to create a mini wireless network. Most iPhones or Android phones can do this. For even more security, use a VPN or virtual private network. This is software that encrypts data traffic and routes it through private tunnels to secure servers to prevent anyone from being able to read it. Companies usually provide them for staff. If not, you can sign up for one yourself. Don't forget the obvious measures. There are other common sense measures you can take in public. Beware of your surroundings. Sitting in a public place with a laptop in plain sight could make it an attractive target for thieves. If you need to leave your spot to go to the restroom, take your devices with you. Avoid having private conversations in public. If you're on a noisy train car or in a busy hotel lobby talking on a Zoom call about a sensitive project, it might be tempting to raise your voice to make sure you're being heard. But you can never be sure if anyone is eavesdropping. In public areas, be aware of whether you can be overheard by any unauthorized individuals, such as members of the public or smart listening devices, the British government's guidance warns. Is there a tech topic that you think needs explaining? Write to us at email protected with your suggestions for future editions of One Tech Tip.